Hello everyone, my name is the Rad Man, and we are back with another episode of PC Building Simulator. We're starting right where we left off in the last episode. Just gonna switch these two computers because I was just waiting for that one to run 3D Mark. And then this one we're just waiting for a replacement hard drive to come, and then we also are waiting on the 8 GB RAM stick for that one. So let's collect this one, and hopefully it's not going to be another thing where we have to mortar our parts. Okay, it is, but I guess we'll just bite the bullet and pay another $30. Though if I wouldn't have jumped the gun on buying the RAM in the first place, I wouldn't having to be paying 30 bucks just for that. Anyway, let's grab this and we'll finish these two. Did either of you have to run 3D Mark? I think this one did, yeah. So we'll get this one up and running so it can be running 3D Mark, and then that other one out in the hall also needs to run 3D Mark. So we'll stick the RAM in this and then start her up, and then while this one is installing 3D Mark, we'll go grab the other one, and all it needs is a RAM upgrade, and then it can run 3D Mark and it'll be good too. So let's take out this hard drive. Okay, that was 500, so let's get a 500, stick you in there, close this, close that, close that. Really quickly stick a few cables in this. Okay, we'll restart this other one. Actually, we need to add it in the first place. I thought I'd already had it adding, but I just turned it on. Okay, do this. And then we'll go have that one installing while this one's booting up. Okay, restart yes. Take this USB. Take it all the way out. Okay, then start 3D Mark and put the case on this, and then all we gotta do is pop the other 8 gig stick into that other computer and we're done with it. Probably the fastest money we'll make in a day. Okay. There we go. Oh yeah, I was gonna say, something exciting is I will be able to record another episode of me farming tomorrow. It'll be another swathing episode, so you guys can look forward to that coming by Tuesday. I probably should use actual like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just because I realized this should be going up by, I think, Tuesday morning. So it'll probably actually be sometime later Tuesday. Gotta plug in the USB stick. And then while these two are running 3D Mark, we will go and look on the shop and look at the upgrades that we can start thinking about buying, because we have $1,500, which isn't too bad for pocket change, though both of these will be quite heavy investments on our wallets. But I think I said it in maybe the first episode that this bench, when you get to the point where you have 3 of these workbenches, the last one pretty much is just for cases, or I mean computers that'll take more than like 2 days to fix. Also rent due. Probably a good thing that we remembered to pay that before looking at the tools. So we could get another USB drive, which like I said, eventually we'll get all of these. This auto connect tool is something that I really have been missing, because basically what it does is it makes it so that unless I'm plugging in a USB, I never have to worry about powering on or off a computer again. So I think we will get it, just because I waited a long time to get it last time, and it might not be like as noticeable as something like, for instance, one of those other software ones, like having the ability to get the complete details of a system, which I haven't had to use this one yet, but I'm guessing it could be used for diagnostics, I guess. But like I said, I haven't really had any jobs that actually required owning this over just plugging in stuff and seeing if it works. And then obviously PC Bay, is about the only other thing besides the quick screw tool, which is very expensive, that we could get other than that USB one, which honestly, as long as we can install, oh, I forgot to put the side panel back on this one. As long as we can install, you know, 3D Mark on one computer and then another, and we don't have to worry about, you know, if we get a job where we have to have like all three run 3D Mark, I'd consider buying that tool. But for normal use, it's not that important. Plus, it's also on the cheaper side compared to every other tool, because I'm pretty sure even the software in the shop is more expensive than $300. Yeah, this is $400 and $800. And this is basically just a place to get cheap parts and cases. And we might use it, but I usually find that their shipping is way too long. So unless you have quite a bit of money to throw on used parts, it's usually not worth using them over just the regular store. And this guy's an author who's asking us to fix his computer because he somehow, like, I don't even know how he does it. He manages to just ruin his computer within like 5 minutes of touching it, basically. Anyway, good. We don't need to buy anything for these because this is just a diagnostic. This is upgrade to RAM, and I checked that we have RAM, and CPU we don't know the system specs on yet. And I don't know if it's a planned feature or if it's actually something that the dev has even thought about, but it would be kind of nice if, like, when you get to maybe like level 6 or 7, you know, if people could actually start giving you some type of information. Okay, let's actually take the RAM one, because I believe this one does have to run 3D Mark. Yeah, it does. So we'll take off this panel, stick the RAM in, and then we'll run 3D Mark on this while we're investigating what's wrong with that, guys. So with this guy, we can just use this old memory. Because if you can, I always prefer to use parts I have in stock over having to buy new ones, just because it saves you a lot of money. Because this job basically turned into maybe having to pay, like, oh, for that little of RAM, it's probably only 40 or 50 bucks. But then it's like it could be up to 80 if you add, you know, the $30 next day shipping. Plus, it just helps you get jobs done a lot faster. Anyway, and one good way to tell whether or not it's a power supply is if stuff will even plug in. Like, for instance, if I press P, nothing happens. So that probably is a good indication that the power supply or the motherboard is out. I believe those are the only two components that can be out and not have it do the, you know, auto connect. Okay, gotta get that guy right there. And, oh, I forgot we have to take off the PSU shroud. Anyway, let's restart you, and then by the time we have this out, it'll be ready to run. Okay, right on time, it's starting up, and then we'll check and see if that power supply is broken. Okay, are you a broken power supply, or is it okay, it's something else. So that means there's a almost 100% chance it is the motherboard, because if the motherboard is at least working but the CPU's out, it'll give you a no CPU error message. And I really hate when it does that, where it automatically hooks everything up when I actually want to be unhooking something like the motherboard, because then I have to unplug all the cables except for the power supplies one. And the good thing is, you know, it'll tell us, like, these are owned by this guy, so we can't actually accidentally give them to someone else. I mean, that would be kind of bad. Let's just check. Okay, yeah, that wasn't the problem. I'm tempted. We'll probably just remove his hard drive just in case, but it's good, so that's about the only thing we can leave in. Oh, really? You can't close the drive bay with that open. Interesting. Most of the others you can. Okay, last cable, and then we come to the best, quote-unquote, best part about monkeying with motherboards is you get to unscrew usually about 6 screws, and then 6 standoffs, which is wonderful. But yeah. And so, why don't you guys let me know in the comments what other series you guys would like to see. Are you better than this one? I don't know if motherboards have a classification as of like better and best, because if I can get this guy, if I can get his motherboard replaced, we'll make sure that it doesn't like give us a, you know, an inferior parts message, which it should do right away where it's the main motherboard. It shouldn't make us, you know, connect every other component before it figures out whether or not it likes this motherboard. But anyway. Also, for some reason it doesn't say you've diagnosed the problem until the computer fully boots up. So I'm hoping it'll tell us if it doesn't like this motherboard before then. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was gonna say, why don't you guys just leave down in the comments what game besides this one you would like. Right now I'm thinking it's probably going to be between Factorio. Dirty Bomb will probably be the other multiplayer game I'll be doing, or I guess I would be actually the only multiplayer game. Let's get this stuff hooked up. So yeah, so besides Factorio and Dirty Bomb, let's see, what was the other one I was thinking of? Or just any suggestions from you guys, because I'm open to suggestions and I'd be, you know, interested in what you want me to play. Oh, but yeah, now you can see we actually did do the right thing, because now it says PC can boot to OS as long as that's working, which it is. So now all we have to do is close this case up and it's done. And I think 3D Mark, yeah, I was going to say 3D Mark better have run by the amount of time we gave it to run. Okay. And then that one was replacing, was it the PSU or the CPU? It was replacing one of those. So we'll get a new one ordered. Of course it was a CPU. Why on earth would you need to replace the PSU? Well, I guess actually, if you built too good of a rig and didn't put a good enough power supply, you'd be in trouble. Anyway, let's see. You are a 3 quad core. Didn't I buy... Oh yeah, I bought this 1300X thinking I could use it, but I couldn't. So I think this is actually... Yeah, it's better. That's great, actually, because that means we can get all 3 jobs done instead of having to order parts. Because I always like it when I can finish all the jobs all at the same time, instead of having, you know, 1 or 2 jobs that are a day or 2 off from every other job we have. Okay, let's get the thumb drive installed, and then while we're running 3D Mark, we'll see what the requirements are for the next jobs. But yeah, I don't know, I really like this game. Like, it's kind of funny. I hate messing around with electronics in real life just because I'm, you know, paranoid of breaking something and having to buy another, you know, $300 or $400 graphics card. And obviously, the graphics card I have now, I bought it for I think $280, and it'd be a lot more now because I bought it on sale. But anyway, I'm like, I don't really want to have to replace computer parts if I don't have to. Might just be because I don't like paying a bunch of money for stuff. And I think this guy is saying basically thank you. And something or other. I know the author guy is going to have another issue. Oh, so here's jobs that I hate doing, which is these 3D Mark scores, because if I knew how the score worked, I think it'd be a pretty easy thing to do. But I don't know exactly how the score is calculated. So what I usually end up doing is just plugging in random parts and overspending by way too much money compared to the payout for those jobs, because they only pay about $200, but sometimes to get the score they're wanting on those jobs, you'd have to spend close to like $600 or $700, and then, you know, that one of these other 2 jobs, I didn't pay a penny basically, because that was used RAM from someone else's computer. I stuck in his to get it up to 4 gigs. So that job is basically the perfect job, where you just, you know, replace it with your existing components and you don't directly pay anything for that job. I mean, sure, sometime in the past you obviously paid for the part, unless you just pulled it out of someone else's computer. But yeah, it's just, I just don't like those. I didn't want to. I've also had that where things just don't run right and they skip, and then you need to upgrade stuff. So, okay, yeah, that was alright. Oh, 4 gigabytes. We better make sure we actually have 4 on hand. Yep, we're good. I don't actually even need to buy an 8 gig stick, do I? No, I don't. So, since we already have an 8 gig stick, I can cancel that and we'll call it a day. Because that way I won't have to pay 30 bucks to ship one item. But yeah. Oh, and if you guys hear, like, happen to hear, like, whether keeping the computers on at night adds to your power bill, that would be appreciated. But as long as the power bill stays relatively low, I'm just gonna, you know, assume that it doesn't add to the power bill. Oh, I think we actually have 3 computers in all right now that have to all run 3D Mark. Yeah, we do. So actually what we're gonna do, just so this doesn't take as long, is since this computer we will probably have to buy a CPU for it, we will work on one of these other 2 that we already have the RAM upgrades for, because I'm pretty sure they're both just straight upgrading RAM. So we'll do this one first. We shall... Oh, I might actually be able to... I can actually just... Oh, but this will be a waste of... This will be a waste of my RAM, actually, because I remembered that other guy only needs 4, so there's no reason to put extra RAM in. So we'll take this out, put in the 8 gig stick that we had, and then we can use either this guy's used RAM or, you know, different RAM for this guy's computer. Because yeah, this guy we might actually have... I don't think I have 2 gigabytes of Titan, so we'll probably just have to stick in a 4 of Titan. Yeah, I didn't have 2 of Titan. You don't really find 2 of Titan in this game all that often. This is where it would be useful to have that second USB thing, but I also just remembered that the USB is actually something that gets the shipping applied to it. So it wouldn't do us any good to buy it now, because unless we wanted to pay $100 extra, we wouldn't even get it by today anyway. But I think where we have about $1,400 in holding, it would probably be worth it to get it. Okay, run. And these are a little closer than I'd like, where we're going to have both of them running 3D Mark at the same time. Because I would like to... I don't know, I really, really want to monkey with this computer, but I also really don't. I don't know, I don't like having 2 computers running 3D Mark at the same time usually. But this will actually save us time because, like I said, I'm fairly certain that we won't have a direct upgrade to that CPU because, yeah, all our used ones are either pretty garbage, like this is a pretty garbage processor of the ones that are available. And I mean, this is a pretty good processor, but most of the processor upgrades usually end up using the AM4 socket instead of the LGA 1151. But yeah, you can see how closely these are on their tests. I think this is the second to last kind of room thing it does. Let's actually get the other USB drive just so we don't run into that problem. I don't think... I'm really tempted to get PC Bay, just because it could be really useful. I don't know. Problem is, though, is that'll leave us with almost no money to buy that guy's CPU. But I think we will get it because I've never found a use for system info yet. And PC Bay will allow us to buy just stuff that we want. And since we don't really have much of a time crunch on any of this stuff, like, we'll survive without this for 3 to 5 days. So we'll just have those shipped to us whenever they get here and see. I think it'll randomize between 3 and 5, but we got lucky and it picked 3. And both of these are done, so we'll come set them by the door. Then we'll check what CPU this guy needs and get 2 more quests. And I probably should not have... I just wasted $10. Actually, I wasted probably about 20 bucks by not just waiting a minute to check this guy's CPU so I could just buy a new one. Yeah, 3 quad-core 1200. So yeah, so he's got the same one. So we need a Ryzen. What's better than a 3 quad-core 1200? 1300X, okay. So 1300X. Boop. Let's turn in these 2. Wait, what? Did I forget to close? I forgot to close the cases on these 2. I knew there was something that was too good to be true about getting 2 done that fast. It's called I forgot to screw on the 1 panel that is required for them to leave this building. I can't believe it. I did that on both of them too. Like, I've done it on 1 before, but I usually don't do it on both at the same time. Okay, set you there. And now we can collect these. Good. Good, good, good. Discard, discard. Request for an upgrade. Okay, that'll work. Yeah, I don't like doing this. I can sometimes do the 3D marks if they'll give you, like, a hint. But usually if they're just, like, just upgrade it, I'm like... Or especially if it's to, like, a certain score, I'm just like, no. Anyway. So... I'm debating if I want to, because we're going to need to buy a new graphics card, most likely. And another CPU. So I think we won't actually order this other CPU for now. But I accidentally just took a screenshot by clicking the wrong button. But we'll come back tomorrow. And cause yeah, this guy, cause as long as as long as they aren't on a strict like time crunch, there's really no reason that you can't just wait. Besides the fact that obviously does take a little longer. But that's fine, we've got plenty of time. Okay, we may as well unhook everything that's keeping this card from coming out, but I won't actually remove it till we have a new one. Okay, so this is a 1050 Ti Wind Force. That's like one of the worst ones. 1050 Wind, yeah. So pretty much any card we could stick in there besides a 1050 Gaming 2X would be better. Which... Is the Ti Gaming worse than that? Yeah, the Ti Gamer is the worst. Well, this is Ti Gaming, not Ti Gamer. I hope that's not a misspelling. Okay, that means we can just put in literally like the worst graphics card we own and this will work. Okay, let's get this sucker put in there. And once these are screwed in... Darn, that was not an upgrade. Why was that not an upgrade? Okay, away. Graphics cards. So we pulled out... Oh, we pulled out a 4G. I was looking at the 2G. Okay, so it is a little bit better. But if we have a 960, pretty much anything, it'll be better than that. What about a 960 Gaming 4G LE? Okay, that'll work. It's like only barely above it, but like I said, it doesn't have to be much above it, it just has to be better. And you gotta read the fine print, like a 4G is a lot more powerful than a 2G, usually. So we'll stick this one in. That better be an upgrade or else I will be a little mad. And yes! Okay, get this sucker running and get 3D marks stuck on it as fast as possible. The good thing is this means that we can have both of them that we're buying the parts for on the table at the same time. You're still the same. I don't know why I went and checked you. But we will swap you out real quick. Should have restarted the computer already. The walking speed is so slow. Okay, pull off the side panel while we're waiting. And you need CPU and your RAM, but I think I do have an extra stick of that RAM. No, I don't actually. Okay, change of plans. Pull this RAM out. And stick a new one in. Boink. Good. Run you. And then we just tear off this cooler and see what is under there. You are a 1300X. What's better than a 1300X? 1400. This changes things. So this means we don't need a 1300X to upgrade that other one. All we need is the CPU out of this one in the hallway, and then we'll stick it in there and stick the new CPU in this one. No. We're going to take the CPU from this one and stick it in this one. That's what we're going to do. I was confusing myself there. I was like, wait, what are we doing? Okay, remove the U. Sorry, my friend, but you have no CPU for just a minute. And since your CPU won't be here till tomorrow, I don't feel bad about switching you out. You just sit over here and be a good computer. Okay, take you out and get our 1300X stuck in there. Okay, there we go. Close you, put thermal paste, cooler, and you. Oh, wait a second. Which one was that, guys? Okay, just to be safe, we'll put this one on there because you cannot put. I forgot, if you put on and then take off a cooler, it takes off the thermal paste. If you put an inferior cooler on, we'll just waste time. And unless it says inferior, we are good to go, actually. Okay, we don't quite have our other thing, so we're going to have to go grab it off of you. Actually, you're done anyway, so we'll just stick on your side panel and call it good. I can't talk today. It's getting a little too late at night to be talking normally. Okay, good. You are going goodbye. And you are going there for tomorrow. And we will slap this in you, and then we'll go turn in that and accept a new quest while this is running 3D Mark after we get it installed. And then that way we can keep things moving here. Anyway, installing 3D Mark Advanced version. I think we're just about out of time, but I don't know. I'm trying to make these videos about 30 to 40 minutes. I think I had one of them that was almost 50. That's not too big of a deal. There we go. Okay, run you. We'll go turn in this other job that we got done, and hopefully we'll get another interesting job out of it. Okay, so. Oh, this one's easy. So basically, this is where it does pay to read these, because Tim was the old owner, or Tom, one of those. And so, I think, if I remember right, all we got to do is change the thermal paste on his, and it'll be good. And so since, which one's running through? Okay, I was like, wait a second, is that screen off, or is it in the middle of a transition from one of the 3D Mark scenes? So, next day delivery. I'll still wait though, because there's a chance we'll have to buy more RAM or a hard drive for the computer that'll replace this one. And that is actually one thing that I think would be cool to see in the future of this game, is having the ability to have like busier times and then slower times, and maybe like you get more of the same job depending on how much you do it, like basically like, you know, word spreads through the community that, you know, this guy doesn't really do, you know, tailoring to 3D Mark scores, but he can pretty much diagnose your computer and usually have it running within a day. So I don't know, I think that would be cool to see from this game. And then it also would be cool to see, you know, kind of along the same idea, you'll get, you know, you could have more than, I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think it would be cool if you could have, like, maybe as you level up, you could have, like, up to 6 PCs sitting here, including the ones on your desks. And then once you unlock the PC cabinet, which is basically just a way to store it if you don't have... I think it's supposed to be a part storage, but I basically use it to store computers that the parts are 2 or 3 days off. Which, like I said, I don't know if that's how it's actually intended you're supposed to use it, but that's just how I do. Okay, shop. We'll order this guy. And I think we actually might call that an end to this episode. But yeah, I think those would be a few cool things, is just, you know, see, like, the ability to have more or even less orders out. Like, in the very beginning, you maybe only get one computer, and maybe not even every single day. But then as you get more popular and level up, you know, you're constantly either rejecting a bunch of jobs, or you're just, you know, you have piles of computers and a storage cabinet full of in-progress computers. But I don't know, I think that would be kind of cool. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. My name is the Rad Man. I've hoped that you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again for the next one. Leave any suggestions you have down in the comments, and thanks for watching. Bye!